Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 112 of the Podcana podcast. This week, we have some incredible news being revealed in front of us right now. We have the two iconic cards that will be within the Fabled booster boxes for set 9. The Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse's abilities finally been revealed. Previously, when we saw this iconic card, his text was blurred out, right? So, these are going to be like the two chase cards of set 9, and I have to say they do look absolutely incredible, and no doubt they're going to look even better when you see them in real life. I think these are kind of like the golden Mickeys, right, where the digital image doesn't do it justice. You actually have to physically kind of see one in person and move around, see it at a few different angles. But yeah, I think these cards look absolutely incredible, and this is the type of stuff we're going to be talking about in today's episode. We're going to be talking lots of details about Fabled, some details about set 10, Whispers in the Well, and also some other few little things at the end here. So I'm super excited to get into it. We'll also be discussing Moyen's recent tournament run at the event within Madrid. And there's also a spicy Ruby Emerald deck that took down an event recently, which I'm excited to talk about for a few different reasons, which we'll get into once we reach that part. But before we jump into everything, Moyen, how's it going? Are you excited to learn more about the future of Lorcana?
Yes, definitely. It's like the set is coming closer and closer, and even if now we know, okay, most of it is reprints, I'm looking forward to like finding out what the few new cards are to spice up the new format.
Sure. Okay. Well, kicking things off, let's just analyze these iconic cards straight away. So the first one is Mickey Mouse Brave Little Prince, Ruby card, 3 cost, inkable 2/2, quest for 1 with Shift 5, evasive, and the ability Crowning Achievement. While this character has a card under him, he gets +3 strength, +3 willpower, and +3 lore. First, the first thing I notice is how flavorful this card is, because once you have a card underneath it, it literally becomes a Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. It becomes like the exact same card. And even the whole idea of, it's a 3 cost card, but it's shift 5, so that adds up to 8. I think that's pretty flavorful, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, okay, so you can spend 8 on it. It becomes like Brave Little Prince turns Brave Little Tailor.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
What do you think about this effect in general, though? Because it's a bit of a weird one where it's I don't know, it's just a 3 cost inkable 2/2 quest for 1 if you just want to play it, and then shift 5 for it to become a much bigger card. It's always
Mhm.
weird trying to evaluate these cards that have like a higher shift cost, and usually it's the reverse, right? Usually the shift cost
Yeah.
is cheaper than the actual cost of the card.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting design space when usually you you pay less because you already have paid for what's underneath it. But
Mm-hmm.
now, if the card has like an extra effect, which in this case it's just stats, but it's a lot of stats that you gain extra by shifting. Um, I think it's very interesting. But so you still have to assume whatever you shift this on costs like 1, 2, or 3
Mm-hmm.
ink.
Mm-hmm.
So you pay like maybe 6 to 8 ink in total for this to get this 5/5 quest for 4 evasive, which is extremely strong. But also you've invested quite a bit into it, so um, you might want to get quite a bit out of it to actually have it be worthwhile the investment. I guess when you shift it, you might already take like a good challenge into an evasive character on that same turn. So even if it does get removed, you already got something out of it. It's definitely a cool card.
Yeah. It's a bit of a weird one, but I think there's some cool things that people might be able to do with it. And again, this is difficult to evaluate without the context of what are the other Mickey Mouses that are really going to be within this meta, because we can't even... I mean, we could at least look back between, I guess, sets 5 and 8 to see if there's anything relevant. But
Hmm.
um,
Which set is the one drop 1/2 resist?
that's a recent set. I believe that's set 5, actually. So that's a Ruby
Oh,
that's a
yeah,
Ruby
that's 5.
Steel deck, right? That's a Ruby Steel.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe Ruby Steel will really pop off. Could it could
maybe.
it could be. The other card that we have here is Minnie Mouse. This is an amber card. It looks a lot more like golden. I wasn't sure what color this was originally, but yeah, this is an amber card. It's 4 cost inkable 2/4 quest for 2 with the ability Royal Favor. Your character's named Mickey Mouse gains support. and another ability, Bye Bye Now. Whenever this character quests, you may banish chosen exerted character with 5 strength or more. Interesting second ability. I think the first ability so far, like we keep talking about it, but support hasn't been that crazy. I guess technically, if you want to line this up, like, yeah, I don't know, you've got like a cheap card, and then you've got a shift target ready for the Mickey Mouse. This is played on 4. You shift for 5 on the Mickey. You quest. You buff up one of your smaller cards. Make a favorable trade. Starting to sound a little bit like Magical Christmas Land, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so support has been has so far not been like the greatest keyword, but one of the best applications so far was like for World's Greatest Criminal Mind, right? When you can just like quest, or I guess the Shift Queen often did it,
Yes.
even if it's not quite support. Just set up that Criminal Mind removal, and this mini effect that buffs your Mickey kind of synergizes with itself, right? Because now if your Mickey has support, you can quest with the Mickey, gives one of their characters some extra strength, so that Bye Bye Now actually takes it out. So I do like that. It's of course still it's like delayed removal in that you need to play this. It needs to be able to stick a turn, and then maybe you also need a Mickey on top of it to like, or you don't need it, but like it would be nice to have a Mickey on top of it to enable the on quest ability of the mini. But both of these cards seem extremely flavorful as well with the Mickey and the Brave Little Tailor, but also how they work together.
I think I agree with you though. I think overall this card will be the most effective if you can actually utilize the support ability, because for the most part, especially in the early game, there's not that many characters that have 5 strength or more, and this is just something we've really noticed for, I would say, a lot of the previous metas, right? It's only until you really get to 6 Ink when you start to see cards like Maui Half Shark where you're really worried about this. I guess Maui Hero to All counts as well. That's probably a pretty valid card, but and maybe in the context of this, that would be one that's quite easy to take out with Mini's ability, because you're almost guaranteed that when they play a Maui Hero to All, it should be exerted as well, right? That's the other issue, is like, okay, your opponent has the character with 5 strength or more, but it's not exerted, right? They're not instantly doing something with it, so it is quite delayed removal unless like specific conditions are met. But I kind of like the flavor of it. I do think I mean, I don't know. Overall, I just like the idea of the Ruby Mickey Mouse more, as in terms of like design and stuff. Just because it synchronizes so well with it becoming like a Brave Little Tailor. But I do think these are cool chase cards, and the art style and the collectability of them seems really cool.
Yep. Also, I'm just happy to see another. Like last week, we talked a little bit about my worry of, okay, can we still deal with Half Shark after rotation if maybe some of the removal doesn't get reprinted. But this, I mean, if this mini's on the board, you can't play a Half Shark, so that's something at least.
True. All right, moving on to the next slide here. This is basically just like the Minnie and Mickey Mouse, except this is the normal versions of the cards, not the iconics. For some reason, this image I have of the Mickey Mouse Brave Little Prince has no rarity, which took me by surprise. I'm pretty sure this is a legendary card, so yeah, the Minnie Mouse Sweetheart Princess is a super rare, and the Mickey Mouse Brave Little Prince is a legendary. But this is, yeah, basically the exact same cards, but these are the versions you will definitely be seeing more commonly if you're actually going to be utilizing these cards. But the art's still great in my opinion.
Yeah, even though you've already said it, I kind of only just realized that the character has to be exerted. Okay, that makes
yeah, that's what I just said. No, that's what I was saying.
No,
you were like, oh, they can't play a Half Shark. I'm like, well, they can.
Until I like actually read it myself, I was like, well, the cards could maybe be okay, but that makes it quite a bit worse, because every time a character exerted, it gained some value. It like took a trade, or it quested, or it had an on-exert ability or something. So it makes it quite a bit worse, unless you can like maybe pair it with something that exerts, but then it also gets more conditional.
I mean, that's also very tricky, because it's like, I mean, then I feel like you have to be playing Amethyst, and then it's like, how many Mickeys are in Amethyst, right? Because that's what Amethyst does a lot of the time.
Yeah, I guess it could work without a Mickey. You could maybe, if you play this in like Amber Amethyst, you play this. If your opponent plays a shark, you go Elsa, exert the shark, quest with this,
bam,
banish it, bam bam.
Maybe. All right, moving on to our next slide here. We're going to be taking a look at Powerline, world's greatest rock star. So Powerline is a 6-cost inkable 6/4 Floodborn with Shift 4, Quest for 2, Singer 9, so really, really high singer card here, with the ability Mashup. Once during your turn, whenever this character sings a song, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a song card with cost 9 or less and play it for free. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And beside Powerline, of course, you can see we have his enchanted version as well, which looks super, super cool. I have to say, like, even the base art for these cards so far, in my opinion, is like really, really, really strong. I think this art, the art this set is it looks great in my opinion. But yeah, analyzing this card, what are your thoughts? There is like his kind of song he's paired with in the next slide, so that will probably help give a lot of context to this card.
Mm-hmm.
But in a vacuum, evaluating
Yeah.
Powerline, what do you think?
Well, it seems explosive for sure. If I'm thinking about, okay, if this ever gets shifted on 4 on me,
Mhm.
and they like sing one big song and maybe another a song for free of
Mhm.
these top 4 cards, that sounds amazing. So like the ceiling is there. The problem is like, how often will it be that good? What decisions go into building your deck in a way where you actually hit a good song off
Mhm.
this? And I think very important to notice that like not every good high cost song is good all the time.
Yeah.
For example, like I don't know, it's like a removal song when your opponent doesn't have characters after the first song. It won't be a great hit of this
Mhm.
effect, or like a board wipe song wouldn't be a good hit. So there would have to be quite a bit of medium to high impact songs that are like good in most circumstances to kind of support the power line.
Mhm.
But if those conditions are met, I think it can be very powerful.
Sure. This is a weird question, and I've actually never thought about this in the context of Aerial. Because it's a you may reveal a song card with cost 9 or less to play for free. I guess if it's like, I don't know, let's say we don't know, right? Let's say B Prep was coming back, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, B Prep's like the only choice because it's you may reveal. You basically just, uh, I mean, your opponent doesn't know that you haven't hit a song, so you can just be like, oh,
Yeah.
I bottom all of them. Like you don't have to reveal it if there is a song there, right? I think people sometimes
Like, oh
forget that,
no,
right?
couldn't find the song.
Yeah, I couldn't find a
So,
song instead of having to wipe your own board, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
At least you don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I think this card seems pretty explosive, like you said, and it's definitely worth noting that this is the first Ruby card we've seen with Singer. The first card we've seen outside
Yes.
of Amber,
And it's
Amber. Yeah.
it's not just Singer. I've just looked um through the current card pool a bit and was
Mhm.
like, did we ever have something that's Singer 9? And we actually did, but like it's the highest Singer we've ever
Is
had.
it the Cinderella?
Um yeah, there was like a 5 cost Cinderella Singer 9,
Mhm.
a 1/5 quest for 2 that says whenever this character sings, your other princess characters gain a +1 lore this turn.
Mhm.
Um so not one that saw a lot of play, but like it is still the character that can sing for the most with its like singer ability, together with the Cinderella that we've ever had, and it's a Ruby.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think you probably do have to build your deck at least in a similar way to how people build Steel Song decks or decks with Aerial in general, where like you will need to have a significant amount of songs if you really want to take advantage of this card's ability. Like you said as well, you probably want to have some pretty high rolly songs so that, and if there is some high roll potential, it gets really like it's really explosive. But then equally, if you play too many high costed songs, then if you don't get this like Powerline shift opener, you just brick yourself and you just lose, right? I
Yeah.
guess maybe that's the risk you take of playing a high rolly deck. But if you can make it consistent enough, I think this card is on paper it looks pretty strong, honestly.
Yeah, I would almost like compare it to, okay, not in terms of power level, but like the idea behind it is like similar to down in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. The 6 cost
Um
Sapphire song, yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
where like the to make this card better, you have to kind of like make your deck worse.
Mm-hmm.
And like the more you build for it, the worse your deck kind of gets. But the payoff might still be good enough to enable that sort of thing. Um, and also just quick shout out to one of the Podcana viewers in the Discord shared that they played like Ember Sapphire down in New Orleans at a set champs, and I think they got like ninth out of, I don't know, I don't remember how many, but it was pretty good result.
Okay.
And
They just
almost
missed the
getting into top
promo,
8.
right? Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but yeah, still very impressive to come ninth with that deck. I think that deck is a prime example of the high roll potential, but then it really does have to be built in a way that it's just good enough by itself, and maybe that's not the case for the deck, right? Some games it's like, oh, I literally can't lose, but then maybe most of the games, yeah, I've just bricked, or I literally can't do anything, right? Which is a shame. But moving into the next card, this is a card that's very much supposed to like synergize with Powerline, at least. From the designer's perspective, I believe, because this is a Sing Together 9 or a 9-cost song. This is Eye to Eye, Inkable 9-cost Ruby song with Sing Together 9. Each player draws 2 cards and gains 2 lore. If 2 or more characters sang this song, ready them. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. I think the enchanted art looks absolutely insane, but unfortunately, my first impression, honestly, is I don't see this song being very good. I can't really understand why it says each player draws 2 and gains 2. Like, I think this would be very different if it was just one player draws 2 and gains 2. Like, you compare this song to even just Friends on the other side of one player draws 2 cards. And then the whole idea of trying to use Powerline to sing this, sure, for the first part of the song, it's good. But, I guess, like, you need another character to sing this as well if you want to take advantage of the second part of the ability. I do believe, Moyen, and from the wording of Sing Together, this would make sense, right? When it says any number of your or your teammates' characters with total cost 9 or more may exert to sing this song for free. So I think you could exert a Powerline and just exert another character to ready it. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly like you can have Singer 13, I guess, to sing this, and then you just ready both of them, I suppose. But yeah, curious to hear your thoughts, because on paper this one's also this is just not doing it for me. But without this, I still think the Powerline could be pretty good if there's some other good songs within the meta, right?
Yeah. So that is I think that's definitely the case where multiple can sing it, even if one of them's Powerline.
Yes.
Which, I mean, yeah, because on the surface level, this seems very, very bad. Okay, it's some saving grace, it's inkability, but outside of that, it's even when it's inkable, it's still a 9-cost Sing Together song. It's like very, very expensive to use, and it has a symmetrical or almost symmetrical effect with the draw to gain 2 lore for each player. Sure, you might be able to use those 2 cards first. Maybe you can win the game of this 2 lore, and your opponent didn't yet win the game of the 2 lore. And your characters that sang the song can still challenge or sing another song after. But that is just not a huge payoff for how expensive the card is. So I think it almost only makes sense to look at this in combination with the Powerline World's Greatest Rockstar. And with that is a great song to sing with the Powerline, but then you need to like shift Powerline or have Powerline play and another character. So like you kind of diminish the value of the Singer 9, because to be able to re-ready, you also need to use, like, you need to at least have another character in play. But then it could be great, right? It's like, okay, you go Powerline, Sing Together it, draw 2, gain 2 lore. Then you activate the Powerline ability, you re-ready it, and you sing another song, and then the Powerline ability again, and you sing another song. So there is some upside there, but I don't see it considering how underwhelming it is without the Powerline.
I think that's a really cool point you bring up, though, and it's like, because I was so focused on when Powerline sings this alone, it's not as good because he can't be ready. But if there's anything in the game that can consistently ready Powerline so he can keep doing this chain of songs, it seems pretty good. It seems pretty interesting and potentially quite strong.
And
go ahead.
I guess on the other side, it's also like, if you sing any song with Powerline, you'd like not, it wouldn't be the worst to at least find an eye-to-eye of it. It's at least some card draw, some lore for both players, which might be okay, but
yeah, I think I was even trying to like, this is getting way too deep, but I was like, oh, you make them draw extra cards. Am I playing this in Ruby Emerald where I, bend to my will, and it's like basically what you do with You're Welcome, right? Where you just make them draw more cards and stuff. But I think, personally, I think that's way too complicated.
Sure, but I mean,
and
it
too
would be one
far-fetched.
application where you say, okay, I sing this, we both get 2 cards, but I play bend, so then it was just like
I
the
mean, they
draw
still
2
get
for
2
you.
lore, which I guess
Yes.
at a certain stage of the game, it's not that impactful. But over the course of the
It
game,
could
that's
still
still
hurt
2
a
more
lot.
lore that they potentially might not have had, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, a strange card to me. But like, I don't know. Maybe somebody can break it with some Powerline chaining or something. But who knows? It seems a little bit too high rolly for it to like really work.
Yeah.
The next card we're going to be taking a look at is Stand Out. So we have the normal version of Stand Out. We also have the epic version here on the left. Stand Out is a 3-cost inkable Emerald Song. And it says chosen character gets +3 strength and gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So this seems like it could be interesting potentially in, I don't know, I'm just thinking about like green purple for a start, because purple has a lot of these evasive cards. Let's just think of like Genie will still very much be within the meta. So if you have a 3-cost character, and even if you have like a 1/3, for example, you use this and then you buff up your 1/3 to be able to take out a Genie. Like, that's an example of where this might be really good. I would absolutely love it, and I'm going to use the classic thing that we've said before. If you put draw a card on every card, suddenly the card gets better, right? But if this had draw a card, man, I'd play this card. This is a good card if it has draw a card, honestly. Yeah.
That's too funny you mentioned that. Yesterday when I went through all the cards with Brandon, that like we kind of joked about that. Where it's like, oh yeah, every card would be great if it said draw a card on top of what it did.
Yeah. For reference, by the way, when Moyen says that, we didn't go through Lorcana cards with Brendan. They were going through Riftbound cards, but yeah, it still applies to every card game. If you put draw a card on the card, suddenly the card's better, right?
It's one of my favorite things to do with Brendan. Is just like take a new card game and evaluate every card one by one and just see how our opinions line up on those.
You know, the card that you guys talked about in Star Wars Unlimited Force Throw all the way back when. Right now at the Galactic Championships in Worlds, it's like everyone's talking about it as the next card to be banned. Basically, it was so strong.
And it had always been incredible, but I think now, in the last set, there was just too many good cheap Force units that also now support it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, back to this card, Moyen. Right, what are your thoughts?
Back to Lorcana.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess it's a like cool niche little trick, but
it seems a bit expensive, maybe, but it's also inkable.
Yeah, my problem with it is like I think the situation where it is good is kind of rare in comparison to the situations where this doesn't do anything. I guess even when you're not facing evasives, you could use this at least +3 strength, trade up a little bit.
And protect your card till the start of your next turn, because it lasts till the start of your next turn.
Yes, sure. Or I guess you can also just quest and just say, okay, I don't care that I have +3 strength. I have like a high lore character, quest, next turn quest again. So there's some applications outside of something like Genie removal, but I think they won't be frequent enough.
It's a different card if it has draw a card. That's all I'm going to say. The next slide.
On your tombstone. I would be better if I said draw a card.
Everything in life would be better if it said draw a card. The next 2 cards we're taking a look at are from Dumbo. So Dumbo is one of the new like movie IPs to be added within Fabled, within set 9. So the first card we have here is Dumbo the Flying Elephant. It's a 3-cost inkable 2/2 with an Amethyst. It's evasive, a quest for 1, and it has the ability Aerial Duo. When you play this character, chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. This card just really reminded me of the like Emerald Tinkerbell from set 1, right?
Yeah, or Fidget, I guess, if you want a New York card that kind of does the same thing.
Ah, right, Fidget's the Ruby Emerald one, right?
Yes, I think it's like the same as Tinkerbell.
And it has support as well, I think. Maybe it doesn't have support.
No, it's gonna describe. Oh, but it does it on quest. It gives another chosen character of evasive
not on
until
play.
12%.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Yeah, again, I guess to evaluate this card, we can kind of compare
Mm-hmm.
how good / important is it that to have this effect available on 3 ink instead of 4 ink, versus how do these stats compare to this old Tinkerbell that we know.
Because it's a 2/3 quest for 2 that costs 4 compared to a 2/2 quest for 1 that costs 3. Yep.
Yes. So what do you think?
I don't know. I feel like 3 willpower is actually quite important. I think the extra lore is important as well because it's an evasive character, but 3 willpower is definitely important. I mean, it really depends. I guess if there's a lot of 2-cost evasive characters within the meta where you want to play Dumbo and then give your 2-cost, like if your opponents play their 2-costs and then you play your 2-cost, or rather, even if you're on the play, you play 2-cost, they play 2-cost evasive, and then you play Dumbo to give your character evasive. Actually, no, sorry, it wouldn't work on the play. It would only work on the draw, right? Because if they want to exert their character. That's my first instinct of, okay, how important is it that I have to be able to try and remove like a pesky evasive threat, or how important is it that I really want to protect one of my characters because it's like so valuable? How would you evaluate? Would you say that's fair, or?
Yeah, I think it's mostly fair. I think like in general the stat line I would prefer a 4-cost 2/3 quest for 2 than a 3-cost 2/2 quest for 1. But having this effect available turn earlier, I think could be useful. Not so much for like removing something, because as you said, okay, for this to be good turn 3, for this to help me take out something turn 3, basically I have to be on the draw, and my opponent needs to have played like a turn 2 evasive that they exerted turn 3. And even if all of that's met, maybe they just like don't exert it.
Yeah, because if they know Dumbo's a good card in the meta, they won't exert it. Exactly. Yeah.
And so I don't see. I don't think it's super likely that we are going to the meta where like a lot of 1-cost 2-cost evasives are dominating it that want to quest. Stuff like Pegasus, I guess, is one of the good 1-drops that we still have as a 1/1 evasive. But I think the only take where this could kind of compare favorably in comparison to something like a Tinkerbell would be in like a super aggressive deck, because 4 cost is kind of a lot, but let's say you just want to like you open like Merfolk double 1-drop, or you just want to like get an extra 2 quest with Merfolk in, or even this, now we're getting into like the hyper aggro territory. There's a lot of like, I don't know if all colors have them right now, but like there's a lot of 2-cost 1/1s quest for 3, right? What if you go yeah, what if you go that, and then turn 3 you go quest for 3, give it evasive, next turn quest for 4. Kind of a lot of lore.
It's a guaranteed 7 lore if they don't have any sort of removal, any sort of tools to exert any sort of combat tricks. That seems pretty powerful, honestly. I feel like there's definitely a few of them. Like I think there's Olivia Flaversham, which is Emerald. That's like I think it's a 2-cost 1/1 quest for 3. There's the Simba within Ruby, which I believe Zach Bivens played at Worlds in his like Amber Ruby deck, right? He's like super aggressive Amber Ruby deck.
I think we've seen quite a bit of these like at least in that format. There's like there's Pinocchio's, which is one of the first ones from.
I mean that's the OG though, right? We don't know if he's coming back. Is the thing. I'm trying to think of like the newer ones that we know are coming back, right? Right. Yeah.
There's a Hiram Flaversham in Sapphire that does that. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then this other card that we have, right? Timothy Q Mouse. It's a 2-cost inkable 1/4 quest for 1 with an Amethyst. Let's show him Dumbo. While you have a character with evasive in play, this character gets +1 lore. I don't know. I looked at this card and I was like, this doesn't seem that good. It seems like it could be okay. I mean, the stat line if you play a 2-cost inkable 1/4 that quests for 2 in general is like, oh yeah. I mean, if that was just the base stat line of the card, I think cards like that could see play, because I mean there are cards that are 2-cost 3/3s that quest for 2 that see play. For example, like Mr. Smee and stuff. And then suddenly this
Yeah,
doesn't die.
Mr. Smee doesn't count. He's not fair.
Sure, okay. I guess my question is, yeah, like would you play a 2-cost inkable 1/4 quest for 2 if it always quested for 2? Maybe, right?
Probably
Yeah.
in some decks. I guess we have like in the first few sets we've had the Wendy Darling. That was just a 1/3 quest for 2.
Mhm.
In set 6 we've got Mr. Arrow, which was 1/2 resist 1
Mhm.
quest for 2, which is
Mhm.
like usually better than a 1/3, but not quite as good as a 1/4. Yeah, so 1/4 I'd play. I guess like I'd need quite a bit of evasives to like consistently turn this on, because 1/4 evasives, 1/4 quest for 2 for 2 inkable. While it's good, it's not like so good that I'm okay with sometimes having a 1/4 quest for 1.
That does nothing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But could still be like something you could play in like a deck that plays a bunch of 1 or 3 drops that are evasive and wants to be aggressive, maybe.
Play Dumbo and give this evasive. Meh, I personally don't think that's that good. It does protect it at least for a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think you mentioned the 1-cost Emerald Pegasus. You play that, and then you play this, and then you're just playing some weird green purple evasive aggro soup deck. Yeah, sure, it's probably okay in that. But what's funny is like the reason why I liked talking about the potential stat line of the 2-cost inkable 1/4 quest for 2 is both you and me, we've played card games for a while now, right? And as card games go in a couple of years, like in my opinion, like that's probably just gonna be a stat line. Like power creep is a thing, and you know, like I don't know how long, right? This could be a year, this could be 2 years. At first, we could probably see, I don't know, like an uninkable 2-cost 1/4 quest for 2, and then eventually becomes inkable. But like, it's interesting to me to talk about even just the baseline of cards like that. That yeah, they're good, because there is definitely potential for those stat lines to come in the future. Power creep is a thing, right? So it's interesting. The next thing that I wanted to showcase is we have a graphic here, which is kind of highlighting the weekly league kit for Fabled, and it has some pretty important information in it. So the weekly play promos we have is it's going to be Strength of a Raging Fire. It's going to be Sisu, Daring Visitor. I couldn't remember the subtitle of this card. I usually just call it Human Sisu, right? Or 3-cost Sisu. I guess there's another.
3-cost Sisu is not very descriptive.
Yeah, there is another 3-cost Sisu, but I guess Human Sisu is the word that most people use. We do know as well that there's going to be Cursed Merfolk is another card that's going to be included within the weekly league kit. This Queen, I believe, is either a pre-release promo or a buy a box promo. It's one of the two. Maybe if it's I'm assuming if it's like on this weekly play kit poster thingy, it's probably more likely the pre-release one than the buy a box one. I feel like the buy a box promo would be maybe shown off a little bit separately. But we've got some like really cool pins. We're starting to really see all of these ink pins show up. I think we've had the amber one, the amethyst one, and now the emerald one. So those are like these like the really big pins. The lore counter here looks pretty cool for it's like the Circle of Life Pride Lands moment from the Lion King. But yeah, I mean, this is important stuff, Moyen. So 3 cards that we know are coming back as reprints, right? We've got Strength of Raging Fire, Human Sisu, and Cursed Merfolk. What are your thoughts on these cards?
Let me think. Well, that's because like the thoughts on all of these 3 cards, they're very different.
Okay, let's take it in order. We'll go for Merfolk, then we'll go Strength, and then we'll go Sisu.
Okay, Merfolk, I didn't really miss. A Merfolk is fine.
It's a good card. It's a good card.
Maybe it's because I play too much Lorcana, but like I've lost to triple Merfolk a lot over the first two turns. Triple Merfolk. Doesn't always happen, but it happens, and it's not always very fun to play against, especially like on the draw or don't find your 1-drop. Still, it's like I guess it's a good card for aggressive decks to have access to, and it's also like still somewhat of an interesting card of like kind of sacrificing board development, because it's a 0/1. It will get traded as long as your opponent just has a character, But it still trades for a card, but it's often like cost 1, gain some lore, make them discard a card. But at the cost of not developing like an actual board.
Sure.
An actual board. I'm not saying Merfolk isn't a board, but like it's not a board that can deal damage or defend itself really well.
And so strength is one that I feel like, I don't know, I feel like overall people will maybe be happy to see it back. It depends I guess it's just how you feel about Steel Song in general. But I think as a removal card out of Steel Song, for like, you know, we always see the staples we always see are Zeus, Strength, and Storm, right? I think Strength is one of the, I mean, they're all in decks because they're all good cards, but Strength seems like a very good card, and also a very well designed card conditionally, in my opinion, where it's not always so good, right? It's not always incredibly strong, but most of the time you kind of work with it, and it's quite an effective removal tool. It's inkable, which makes the card like really, really good. And I don't know. I'm glad to see a card like this confirmed to be reprinted. Whereas if I saw Storm confirmed to be reprinted, I'd be maybe a little more skeptical. But then that also depends on if One Drop Cindy is reprinted, right? There's all of these kind of conditions, right?
Yeah. I feel like a Storm, while it's incredibly powerful in the current context, okay, Sapphire Steel isn't played anymore, but like we've seen how incredible Storm can be when it's played turn 2. Either with Cindy or with Shift Diablo or with
Bell.
But I still feel like outside of that context, if it's like if you play a 3 cost and then turn 4 your 3 costing Storm, like it's kind of a fair card. Strength is really, really strong. I think it's kind of hard to find steel decks that don't play for strength. Whereas Zeus and Storm are a lot more contextual on do they have good targets, because like the cost of including them is quite big, because they can like clog up your hand, especially like maybe in a deck where you play Dock as well. If you can't use it soon, then it might make the Dock a lot worse. Strength never clogs up. I mean, and if you draw a lot and you don't have a good usage, okay, you have to ink them. But like, it often has a decent use, and you can ink it, and it can be very swingy. Like, Strength is an incredible card.
Are you happy to see it back, personally? It's very hard to answer. You don't know. Yeah, you don't know, right? Okay, sure.
First instinct would be no, I think. I'm like the song mechanic in Lorcana is so strong, but also so dangerous that I'm like always scared of these like, oh, just exert my character, don't pay any ink, remove whatever you just played. All of these cards, I think you have to be careful about. So yeah, I'm slightly surprised it's back, but it's like it's not the end of the world. I think it might be completely fine.
Yeah, I mean, I also agree that it's very, very powerful, but what I'm thinking, and obviously like we don't know, so like if a lot of the other forms of removal are potentially rotating out, and we're not, at least in this set, getting equally powerful forms of removal, or if the removal in general is going to be maybe potentially a little bit more limited, then having Strength is probably very necessary to have at least some type of really strong removal. But I do agree with you, and it's like, it is really scary where you could play something and then they just go, yeah, it doesn't matter, I'll just go play Strength. But that happens anyways, and I feel like we can deal with it. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not against removal. I think removal's good, removal's important. It's just like when the removal doesn't cost ink, because like if one player gets ahead and then you want to contest the board like an honest person with characters, and then they just like sing removal, play more characters, it's like you can't do that because Strength doesn't work without actual characters on the board.
It's very swingy.
It is a very, very strong card.
Okay, and Human Sisu, how do we feel about this?
I think the consensus the community kind of has is like, because Maleficent's coming back, and because a lot of people don't like Big Sisu, people like don't expect Big Sisu to come back. And I think if Big Sisu doesn't come back, Sisu is like the small Sisu is terrible. And I think even with Big Sisu, it's like I still never felt like this was the greatest card. Like it sometimes made its way into these decks, but even with Big Sisu, it wasn't like an amazing card or like an impressive card. It's 3 cost, uninkable, with very, very limited targeted, unless you combine it with like strength removal options. So like, it's okay that it's back, and I don't think it's like a particularly like I don't think it's unfun. I don't think it's too strong. It's kind of whatever that this card's back.
Sure. You think even in
What do you
combination,
think?
like, well, I think it's cool that it's back. I think it can have some uses, but I think it's a card that, as long as Big Sisu doesn't come back, it's fine for it to come back as well. Like, I think I'm hoping that there will be enough uses for this card that if people want to play like a red-blue deck with coil, because we've seen the coil openers where you can go coil 2 and then you can ink and then you can get like kind of a nice swing with the Sisu, can be good. But that's a lot better if you followed up with the potential shift Sisu then after, right? It's like, it's a good start, and then you've got this potential body where you can make the shift. But it's still not bad. I think ultimately I agree with you. I think it might have some use cases, but outside of those specific coil interactions, I really don't think it's going to have much more use than that, unless there's some more support printed for strength removal stuff, right?
It's for example, it's like one of the best Merfolk answers, but if it just has to exist in a world where it's kind of like really just hitting 1 strength or less and doesn't set up for like something like a Big Sisu, then like the entire meta would need to be, or almost the entire meta would need to be Merfolk decks for this card to really be good.
Or Daisy, it's pretty good against Daisy as well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, moving into the next slide, we have the champion playmat revealed for Fabled, and I have to say, this is one that I will, if I have the time, I will try and fight for, because between the promo card and just I would love to roll out this playmat. The green fire, the art, the pose. This is one of the playmats that really speaks to me. I don't think there's been a playmat that I've seen from Lorcana that speaks to me more than this personally. Like, I really liked the Stitch. The Rockstar Stitch I thought was actually really sick. But since then I'm like, yeah, they've been cool. I think the Scar one was pretty nice as well. But this is like, I can see people like, I really hope this fires competitive players up again to, if you've been maybe lacking on set champs, which honestly I have been, I think you probably have been as well, Jan. Like, this is the thing that will probably get me back out there. This and the fact that it'll be a new meta and a bit more exciting, right?
Yeah. No, I think I haven't played set champs since Ursula.
Oh my god, since set 4. Wow.
And
no, that's incorrect. Technically.
Okay, I don't count content creators.
What, because you did so bad, is it? Because you did so bad. What do you mean? I don't. Jan's like, I don't count content creator set champs. What, is it because I won the content creator set champs? What?
No, because the field is so much worse.
Okay, yeah, that's why I won, right? Yeah, it was the. Usually these tournaments are 16 players. This is the first 32 players. All of Europe, all cow wins. Yeah, players are trash. Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, this guy.
I mean, okay, sure. I guess they count. But yeah,
you haven't played them seriously since set 4, right? Yeah.
I haven't played for a while, and I think this meta is super cool. I love that it's displaying like a super playable card, even if it doesn't see like a lot of play right now.
It's like iconic.
We don't know. Like it saw a lot of play already in the history of Lorcana. I think it's a lovely artwork, and I love this meta. Oh, I mean, I guess we'll talk about it later, but I finally got to use my my set champs Ursula. It's like they were just sitting at my home this entire time, but I finally got to play them in a tournament, which was cool.
Oh, your enchanted cards, right? Yeah, I thought you meant your playmat, but no, that's cool. Yeah, your enchanted cards, awesome. All right, the next slide is a jigsaw puzzle, which you guys were like, what? A jigsaw puzzle? Yes, Ravensburger have been known to make puzzles. They're like a puzzle company, board game company, toy company for many years before they dipped their toes into the TCG space. And they are, I believe this is like celebrating Lorcana's like 2-year anniversary with these puzzles that feature all of the many Lorcana art pieces. There will be one for each ink type. So this one that we're displaying right now is the amber one. And there will be an exclusive Mickey Mouse promo card to go along with these, with this like sparkly border. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. We don't have a high-res image of the promo at the moment, but for me, this like sparkle shine that they have done on some of these cards already, like the Lilo, and I think they've done a Mickey exclusive within the States, and they're planning to do it for the Tinkerbell and the Elsa like gift box set. I personally don't think these are that interesting. It's just like the same card with a bit of a different border. I know this is a very easy promo card to do, where you basically just change the border of the card rather than getting like an alt art of the card or something. But I'm pretty sure this Mickey Mouse True Friend has been used so many times as a promo card at this stage. He's been used for like the Japanese one, the Chinese one, back in set 1 and stuff. So, you know, I mean, Mickey Mouse is an iconic card, and I guess it makes sense to include this within like a big anniversary set and stuff. But like, I would like to see a bit more variety in promos. And to my point, Moyen, you might be thinking, there's a jigsaw puzzle for each ink, right? Surely that means there's a different promo card within each one for collectors. No, it's the same one in each box. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So if you get the amethyst one, you're still getting this amber.
I'm getting an
Mickey
amber
Mouse.
card in my amethyst puzzle.
Yeah. And what's even
And
more
then I buy
interesting is
a sapphire puzzle, and I get another true friend.
Yep. I believe I'll have to double check this after, but I do believe that the amethyst and the steel jigsaw puzzles are whatever Disney exclusive means, which I'm assuming is only available at like Disney stores or at the parks or whatever. And I think it's cool that they do these, right? And it's kind of like a bit of a collector hunt to try and get them. But if there were unique promos in it, it's like, why am I on the hunt for this Mickey Mouse True Friend that honestly, like, even this wouldn't be great, but for the fact that these are like Disney exclusive jigsaw puzzles, and I'm not entirely sure if they even have done this, but like one thing that would even be better that some other TCGs do is like just have some Disney 100 like stamp on it, then at least like make it a little bit different, so that people who are really into collecting actually feel like, oh, I have to go to my local Disney store, or I have to go to a park to try and get this. But if they're all the same promo, like I hate to say the word, but it feels a little bit lazy, maybe. I don't know, but it's a cost as well, of course.
I think like the idea of these puzzles is cool. I think these puzzles, or at least this amber one that we're showing here, it looks amazing. I don't think they needed to have a card, but if you do a card, it seems like kind of a miss not to have one for each color, if like the theme of the puzzles is an ink color.
And it makes it collectible, right? Like I feel like this is the type of thing that I don't know, like from a sales perspective as well, I feel like it would probably do better if all of them had unique promos that, like, I don't know. I guess I agree with what you said. It's like if you go to the effort to putting the promo in it, I feel like you try to really go the effort rather than just saying we'll slip this in and that they'll have some kind of cross between it. But I guess it is maybe better than nothing, and I do agree that the puzzle at least looks really cool and it highlights some really cool art pieces. When I was a kid, I did love doing jigsaw puzzles, so I don't know, like, I don't think this is something I'll be running to the store to get immediately, but I might get this if it's on sale somewhere, or like it's a nice piece to have, right? I'm not gonna lie. So maybe in a few months, if I see it, I might pick it up. And I do love what they did. You were at the Ravensburg event, right? The one, I think it was in April, where didn't they give players like you had to like go and build this big jigsaw puzzle or something?
Yeah, it was like there was a huge puzzle, and I think it was just like divided into like 500 small puzzles. I think it was like 532 piece puzzles, and then it combined into like a huge
stitch, right?
Artwork, into a huge stitch, and that was incredibly fun, and also it was like super relaxing to just like after a round, especially if you like maybe socially a bit drained, instead of like walking around, you just go sit down, do your puzzle, GG.
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually do like the idea of the product, but I think maybe it could have been executed a little bit differently. But cool nonetheless. Moving on. We're into set 10 territory. Whispers in the Well. Here are some new cards that we're showing for the first time. These are kind of the theme of these cards is detectives, which I'm not going to say is a new classification. We actually do have some existing detectives already, such as the Mickey Detective from set 1. We have Basil, who is, of course, the Great Mouse Detective. But it's interesting. It's always interesting to me when a set comes out and they try to push a certain archetype in terms of, like, we saw in the past, we're pushing pirates. It's like, okay, how much are we really pushing pirates? How competitively viable are these cards going to be? Or are these just more flavorful, kind of kitchen table style mechanics, right? So this first one, Judy Hopps with Sapphire, is a 4-cost inkable 3/3 quest for 1. When you play this character and whenever she quests, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a detective character and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So if there's enough good detective cards in the game, honestly, this seems like a pretty good card because this isn't just on play, it's also on quest. So when you play it, you instantly get a card, hopefully if you find a detective, and then when you quest with it, you should also get another one. But there really has to be enough very playable detectives within the game that do powerful things. If that's the case, I think this is a good card. What are your thoughts, Moyen?
Judy, if there are enough good detectives, actually sounds quite good to me. But I have a personal bias towards 4-cost 3 that replace themselves, as I loved Thala for the entirety of Lorcana, and this has the potential to be a Thala-ish that can pick some cards, but that can also then threaten to give you another card if she sticks around a single turn. So I think this Judy Hopps, while we don't know how many good detectives there will be, looking at just top 3 cards is like slightly worrying because then you actually need like a lot of good detectives got head rate. But if the conditions are met, I actually think this card's quite powerful.
Sure. Next card is Putting It All Together. It's a steal action card, 2-cost inkable. It says chosen opposing character can't challenge during their next turn. Draw a card. I mean, we've seen this effect on a body before that's seen at least some play, which is the 3-cost inkable Steel John Silver. This has draw a card attached to it, so it has draw a card. Surely that means it's a good card, Moyen, right?
It's just like so much lower tempo in comparison to the John Silver. Like having that effect on a stick seems better to me than having it on an action that draws a card.
There's also a song, I believe. I don't know. I think it's still. I think it might have come out in set 5. It's a 3-cost inkable steel song that I'm pretty sure just has this effect as well. I want to say it's chosen opposing character can't challenge during the next turn and draw a card. I believe it's When Will My Life Begin. If you could double check that for me, Moyen, I would greatly appreciate it. But I think notably and what we've seen the John Silver used for in the past is it's actually pretty good for dealing with Maui Half Shark, or at least like temporarily delaying it, right?
Like delaying its presence so that you can get some extra questing power in. When Will My Life Begin is a card. It's a 3-cost inkable song that has this effect, this exact effect. And
is it set 5?
Never saw play.
Is it set 5? Is it still in rotation?
Yes, it's set 5.
Okay, yeah. If that never saw play, then will an action card see play?
I'm having a lot of trouble seeing this in competitive.
Sure. Do you want to read out Nick Wilde then for us, this last card?
Nick Wilde is an uninkable 5-cost 5/4 character that quests for 2. And it's shift 3 with the effect Case Closed. During your turn, whenever one of your detective characters banishes another character in a challenge, draw a card.
Okay.
So it's a draw engine for detectives that's challenge based. It's the detective itself, so if you do get to shift it turn 3 and take a challenge immediately, you already get to draw a card. It's probably its best application.
I think ultimately, for me, it just comes down to the same thing as Judy, where if there's enough decent detectives, like super strong detectives, then maybe it sees play. But I do think it's good the way you evaluate it as well, because I'm assuming that's the assumption you're making anyways, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm not playing this if there's no detectives anyways. Like, I have to be playing this in
Yeah.
a meta where there are some good detectives.
Yeah, I mean, and imagine we were in a world where this is the only detective. It would still say whenever this challenges a character, banishes a character in a challenge door, which is like not the worst baseline to have.
It's not the worst baseline, but I think if that's the case, cards like that, at least in my opinion, I would like to see them have. It's important because they still need to have a nice amount of strength to be able to challenge into things, but I like cards with that ability to have a little bit more willpower so that maybe you can get multiple uses out of them potentially. Rather when with this, I could only see this getting multiple uses if I hit like a 1-3 and then also for some reason they didn't have like a 3-3 or something to be able to take
If
this
my
out.
opponent's AFK, maybe.
Yeah, if my opponent's AFK, then I'll get Giga card draw off of this, right? Yeah.
So it is one of these wonkier card draw engines because it relies on you having detectives. Okay, it's a detective itself, but maybe you want another detective already on the board ready to challenge, and it relies on your opponent to actually exert their characters. But it's still not the worst card I've seen.
Sure. All right. Moving on. This slide is showing off some of the artwork from the booster packs of Whispers in the Well. So we can see a Daisy Duck on the left. We can see a Gaston on the right, who famously, I believe Spessy thought Gaston was from Snow White. I'm kind of calling out Spessy here a little bit. But yeah, we did a Disney quiz recently, and he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this character's from Snow White. And I was like, oh, Spessy. And then this card in the middle is from Gargoyles.
Yeah.
And I believe I checked, I had to like, from when we saw the first teaser from Whispers in the Well, I looked up Gargoyles and I looked at some of the characters, and it's like I'm testing myself for this. I should know this character's name. Like I looked it up recently. Have you watched Gargoyles? Do you just know it?
No, I just know it.
Oh, sure. You definitely didn't just Google it.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Not.
I don't know. It's something like kind of short. Like, is it like Demona or something?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh yes, let's go. I'm very proud of myself. Cool artwork. I think the artwork's really really cool. I don't know much about Gargoyles. I never watched it, but seems like it could be a cool new. I believe it was a TV show. Cool new kind of IP coming into the game for Whispers. What do you think about the artwork, just in general, the style for the set so far?
Love it.
Yeah, competitive player, loves card style, love art. What does the card do? He says exactly. All right. And the next slide is showing off the starter decks. For set 10, we have a Simba and a Megara, and then of course the Judy and a Robin Hood. It is actually worth noting that it looks like some of the cards on the side have some sort of like foiling or effect around the border. Some type of sparkle effect as well, so that's interesting. I don't know if that's a style that they're going with. It's not as prominent as what was on the Mickey Mouse, but it looks like maybe there's some type of foiling.
Yeah.
Another question that I'm asking a competitive player who's probably going to say, I don't care, but what's your general opinion on the differences that they've made for the foiling from the first two sets compared to now? You're going to be like, there's a difference?
Why do you keep asking me these questions? It's like, it's not what I'm paid to do here.
You're not paid at all. What do you mean?
That's the other problem.
But do you actually know the difference in foiling that I'm talking about? No. Okay, so from the first few sets, usually the art part of the card, along with like the cost and the strength and the willpower, had a foiling effect. Whereas now, I believe it was from set 7 onwards, the entire card is foil. So even like the text box and stuff like that is all foil. And what I've noticed, at least myself, is cards with a full foiling tend to curl a lot more. And I'm sure you've seen that in other card games as well, that some foils just like literally turn into Pringles. Which can be annoying if you're a collector and you're trying to do that type of stuff. And I know for like the legendaries in this set, they have the kind of, it looks like an embossed layer where I don't know, it's like a PNG of the character kind of breaking out of the card. Frame break, as we know from Marble Snap, right? Where you'd upgrade your cards, it would be like epic frame break. Yeah. But I don't know. I liked kind of the old foiling, but I just find it interesting how they're constantly trying to change the layout of cards, foiling of cards, borders, stuff like that. Because it is actually more important to us competitive players than you would think, and I'm gonna explain why. Like I know you're sitting here like I literally don't care. I want to play the game.
Mhm.
It's not so important to us that it affects how we play, but it is actually important to the game overall because like how collectible you make this game, and if you're trying to get into like the collector market and stuff like that, it all revolves like the entirety of the game revolves kind of together, right? Like we're competitive players, but for like investment and stuff to continue to go into competitive play, that's there's no way that's just funded from people buying tickets for DLCs, and that comes from people buying product and sales, right? So it's like how much of a set is sold. Are these gift sets and stuff desirable enough, or are the cards collectible enough? So everybody that like chases these cards and buys product, it's like all of these decisions, they do actually matter. So it's just, I don't know, it's not something you necessarily have to care about. You really don't have to care if cards are foil or not, but for the overall success of the game, that's why I enjoy kind of at least looking into it from time to time, because if I feel like from a competitor or from a collector standpoint that something's not really worth collecting, for example the discussion we just had around these jigsaws, then it's like, I don't know, like will a collector want 6 Mickey Mouse True Friend promos just because they want all of the jigsaws? Maybe, but I feel like if there were unique promos, it would be a lot more desirable to them. But would you agree that it's important for like a competitive player to, like I said, not necessarily care about these things, but understand that the success of the game is not just reliant on the competitive play, just because that's the part you're interested in, right?
Yeah, I mean, the competitive player, he doesn't need to understand this, but that doesn't make it less true, right? It's like he or she can survive without caring or understanding the ins and outs of how collectability plays a role in its game. But of course, that doesn't, like, it's still true that this is important. Personally, I
Don't
love
care. Oh, sorry,
no
no.
no. Personally, I love alt arts a lot more than like foiling.
Mhm.
Like I care about um like a different version of the card a lot more than like if something shines a little bit in it. That's just my personal opinion. But I understand that all these foils still play a part in collectability. Also, the the card bending
Mhm.
on like these full foil versions.
Mhm.
Of course, that matters because in like when you compete, you don't want a card to be you don't want to be able to differentiate between your cards based on foiling.
Mhm.
So that is important. I think Riftbound also recently had like their organized play rules published,
Mhm.
and they won't allow you to even play like different language versions in one deck. You have to play like one language to the entire deck, and which can also come down to, oh, maybe you would be able to differentiate the different prints.
Based on like texture and stuff, yeah. I think that makes sense. Also, I think in general it probably makes sense because I believe for now in that game there's only going to be 2 languages. It's just Chinese and English, and I would assume that the Chinese card stock is probably going to feel noticeably different than the English
Mm-hmm.
card stock potentially. What I thought you were going to say there, which would have been like crazy interesting to me, is like this would have been crazy restrictive. They're like, yeah, like so you have to play like if you're playing a playset of something, you can only play like normal versions, or all have to play the same versions of the card, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can't play like 1 foil and 2 normal versions. I was like, what, bro? They're like insane. What do you mean? Like, because I know there's
Yeah.
some competitive players that care about that, right? Like, it sounds a bit
Yeah.
weird maybe, but it's like, okay, either I run like all 4 foil friends on the other sides, or all normal ones, and if I have a mixed match, then there can actually be like, I mean, do you guess like, can you briefly explain what the disadvantage might be if you run some different types of copies of those?
Sure. The biggest disadvantage is like that you might accidentally give information away if you're playing different versions of the same card.
Mhm.
Is like, I think the easiest example is your opponent sees your hand. Let's say they played a 1-cost Diablo
Mhm.
or a 2-cost Ursula, and they see, oh, there's an enchanted Sisu in their hand.
Mhm.
And then later in the game goes on for like 6, 7, 8 more turns. You want to play a Sisu, but you have like an enchanted Sisu and a non-enchanted,
Mhm.
for example, or foil and a non-foil.
Mhm.
And then if you now make the slight mistake of playing the Sisu that your opponent didn't see, then now they still know that you have another Sisu,
Mhm.
which could help them with their decision making. So like there's not if you play different versions of the same card, if you remember to use the ones that your opponent has information about first, like there isn't really a disadvantage, but you can fall into situations like these where you're now open to make mistakes that you wouldn't be open to if you were playing just the same version of.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, and the next slide, a very, very big surprise. Our first look at set 11. Set 11, set 9 hasn't even come out yet, but set 11 is called Winterspell, and the art depicts Stitch snowboarding and Angel throwing snowballs at him. I mean, initially, go ahead.
What do you think about this artwork and this style of art?
Is this just to get me back as like, what do you think about the art? I mean, I'm gonna say it looks sick. It looks cool, no? Like, I think in general the theming for this set and stuff already from like one image looks pretty cool. Like, I can't really see the background. I was looking into the background of this and I thought it was like you know, part of it's winter and then part of it's like tropical and summer as well, because I thought that was sand in the background, but I think that's just the sky. I thought there was like a big beach in the background, but I think, I mean, it's in the name, right? It's Winterspell. I'm assuming most of the set is winter themed, but I think seeing Angel make her way into Lorcana is really, really, really cool. A lot of the Lilo Stitch cards and yeah, I don't know, like the people, if they want to build like their Lilo and Stitch deck, they have a few more options now, and it's just a cool character to include in the game now. Moyen, what do you think of the art?
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
That's I couldn't have said it any better, my friend. I couldn't have said it any better. Yeah, I believe that's all of the news for the reveals, Fabled, Whispers in the Well, and Winterspell. As we move on to the next slide, we're going to be taking a look at Moyen's Green Purple from the Madrid event. First of all, how were the general vibes there and everything? I know this is like the first time you've like properly competed in a while, I believe, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played a big tournament. What was the last one? I guess the last one was Ravensburg, and the one before that was Continental. So there hasn't been.
Wow, that's such a
lot of
gap, isn't
tournaments.
it? That's
Yes,
crazy.
and it is sad, but there wasn't nothing major to compete in.
Ah, there's like UK Games Expo. I guess you don't talk about the ones where you probably didn't play as well in.
Count. It's like content creator set champs.
Oh, this
Doesn't
guy,
count.
man. Oh, he's pushing on my buttons today. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, the vibes were great. It was my first time in Spain. The Spanish community was very kind and welcoming. There was some people coming from outside of Spain as well, like some Portuguese players, some Italian players, Swedes, some Polish, some Germans, some French as well. Probably some more, but no, it was a great tournament. It was, I think, 320-ish players.
Nice.
It was a very ambitious 9 rounds of best of 3, especially with some delays, as this was one of the first, maybe the first big tournament with the Ravensburger Play Hub, which
How'd
did
that go?
okay, but it had definitely caused some hiccups of like tables not loading, standings not loading for a while. But outside of that, I mean, I guess also the TOs, they did very, very well in still managing even with those delays, because 9 rounds of best of 3 is no easy feat. So when those rounds were done, we needed to leave the very, very. But yeah, no, it was a great time.
I saw you ate a lot of ice cream.
It was no ice cream. It was frozen yogurt.
Oh, and you learned the difference from the last episode, did you?
No, I knew that difference before. I just didn't know frozen custard because we don't have that. But
that was the first thing that Kim said to me. I hope he took his.
Yeah, I took so many pills because I can't eat lactose. I shouldn't, and it was not vegan frozen yogurt. So, okay. I'm small sidetrack.
Okay, tell us about the deck. What deck were you expecting to be the most played, and what was your game plan going into the tournament against the expected metagame?
Okay, so this tournament, while it was big, it wasn't like incredibly crazy pricing where I would like make spreadsheets on what's exactly expected, what matchups are what deck has into that, and then like mathematically find out the deck I want to play. Instead, it was a tournament that I of course I still wanted to do well in, but also what played part of a role in my decision to pick this deck was rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I have never played a Diablo deck in a big
Mm-hmm.
until last weekend. I don't like Diablo. I
Mhm.
don't think Diablo's well designed. I don't think Diablo's fun. But I still felt like if rotation hits and I never played a Diablo deck, that I like missed out on some of the that is competitive Lorcana with Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I wanted to play a Diablo deck, and I think if you compare between Emerald Steel and Emerald Amethyst is quite a bit more consistent because you can play more than, or I guess there's another Diablo deck that you like to play.
Mm-hmm.
But Emerald Amethyst is the one that can play the most one-cost Diablos.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's like its ceiling isn't as high, when it does shift more often than the other Diablo decks.
Mm-hmm.
So I built around this, but also I was expecting a lot of Amber Steel, which ended up being true. I don't actually have data on everything, but from the people I've talked to and from what I've seen around the room, it seemed like there was a lot of Amber Steel.
From your matchups, that was also very true, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in my first 4 rounds, I didn't face any, and then the next 4 rounds in a row, I faced Amber Steel,
Mm-hmm.
which also ended up winning the tournament. So I also wanted to be better against Amber Steel than maybe some of the more normal versions of Emerald Amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've talked about it like maybe it was in Rome. There was definitely one other bigger tournament where Gabriel Dino played a version like this, like a similar version that was also playing two muses, some extra songs with the Heffalumps and Wuzits that are both good against Amber Steel, but also good against Diago. And then extra 2-drops that don't get banished by Storm that can help you challenge the early board from Amber Steel very well, which is the Ursula, which is just a 2-cost 1/3 challenger +2. And then also the Shift Ursula, which I was excited about to actually get to use the set gems card, but also helps you, like both Muses and Ursula, they help you so much at actually locking out games where you've stabilized, right? Because without these in Emerald Amethyst, often you can like stabilize the board and still lose the game because your deck isn't good enough to deal with their top decked characters all the time. But with Muses and Ursula, you can kind of get to the stage where no matter what they draw, you can deal with it. So this was kind of the version of choice. I went into testing a little bit, tweaked the numbers around, and then I did still want to include some genies. What I ended up liking this a lot. Okay, in this it's 2 of each, but like this deck was very rewarding for recognizing early which of the 4-drops is most valuable to play for, even like turn 2, turn 1, and inking accordingly. Because Genie, Iago, Chip, Muses, they all can be incredible, but all of them have their weakness or their situations where they're really not what you want to be doing turn 4. Outside of that, I guess one of the big things is, okay, this deck doesn't play the lever package, because both levers can be, like, while in theory shifting, discarding one of the levers, and then having access to more removal later can be quite amazing. I think they can also brick your hand quite a bit, and in comparison to Hypnotize, like if the opponent has any card in hand, Hypnotize is usually better, or at least as good as the lever to draw 2 or discard 1. And so for this discard plan, you have like a lot more card advantage. And I think with just Elsa and Ursula to exert stuff, but also Brunos, you have enough removal and hard removal to like not really be bad against Shark. I'm sure if you play like the lever package, you decks, But I think this is good enough against Shark and better against lower matchups without by not including the lever package. Then I also opted to include the ninth Diablo, just upping the shift consistency a little bit, playing quite a few amount of uninkables with just 4 Diablos, 3 Prince John, and the 2 Genies. Lucifer was another consideration now that you're playing music. You kind of have enough discard without it, and the deck gets more consistent by not playing it. And I think you can sing Bruno well enough without it as well. But Lucifer was another consideration for sure. In the tournament itself, I ended up winning the first 4 rounds. The first 2 rounds were actually against Ruby Amethyst, which can be quite a tricky matchup. And in none of these games, I shifted Diablo either. Sometimes because I didn't have it. Sometimes because I play the 1-cost Diablo, I see Peter Pan in their hand. Or like, even when I didn't see their hand, maybe game 2 I already knew. Game 1 I saw 3 or 4 Peter Pans. I'm like, okay, I don't need to shift here. But instead kind of like always playing for the Prince John and dropping the Diablos when they're running out of their hand, or maybe like to force a B prep and then play another Diablo. Kind of using them as 3-cost value tools instead of like this early shift tempo-y tool.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, continue.
Okay, so then my round on stream was like against Emerald shifted Diablos and they didn't. In one of the games I had 3 Diablos, could have played a 4th one. And like, okay, pass, draw 4. That seemed very, very silly, so we didn't really get to play the game too much. Then I had like a red-blue, which seemed very, very comfortable matchup. And then after the lunch break, I faced 4 Ember Steels, 2 of them being Steel Song, 2 of them being Ember Steel Aggro, which is what this deck's like hatched for. But it still seemed so easy to lose, especially when you lose the die roll. Like, okay, on the play also felt like to lose. But on the play, it still seemed hard to win, even with all of these. In a bunch of games, I still got close to like, I stabilizing, but like not quite there. Sometimes like they have 0 cards in hand. I can clear everything except a 1-1 or 1-2, but they're on 19 the game. And like in other green-purple decks, you'd say, okay, but what if they draw like a Pete or a Dog and more characters? But like at that point, I had Muses, Ursula on the board set up, so I was like, if I do manage to remove 1 more character that turn, if I had stabilized just slightly quicker, I would have closed out those games comfortably from there. But it still seemed quite easy to lose, especially on the draw, and so I lost 2 out of those 4 rounds, won the other 2. The funny thing is, round 8, my opponent was proposing an ID, and I was probably like so it was top 32 cut, and I would have been like top 10 if I just ID round 8, round 9. But of course, I wanted to play for higher seeding, and then I got like 2-0 in 15 minutes. I was like, so that happened.
Yeah.
Which then meant I had to like ID the last one. If I then I'd just no longer be in top cut. So by trying to play for higher seed, I screwed my seed, but that happens. And in top cut itself, so the top 32 players, they all got to pick and chart first seed. It's like the first few picks were like Tinkerbell, Cinderella, like really, really good cards. And then when I was 24th pick, when it came out, basically just items and locations left. But that was cool to have like an extra reward for finishing high.
So what did you pick?
Outside of just going first. I got Maleficent Staff, which I think is a cool card. I like green purple control, so like if I want to play that deck, I could even play it on that. And then I play against Victor, so Pika Toste, and it rang a bell, but I didn't quite know who is this guy. And then I saw him, I was like, oh no, I remember. And it was my top 16 opponent from Bologna, who ended up getting the Mickey and by beating me. So I was very much looking forward to a good rematch. And although I although I was lower seed, so I went second. He was playing red blue shark, and I think the matchup's so good that even going second, I felt confident going into it, and ended up beating him 2-1. And next round, the next round was like we took the entire 70 minutes that we had.
Okay.
It was against Blurple, but those games were extremely grindy. With like my muses bounced probably 6 or 7 genies, and they kept replaying them, and like I keep discarding, drawing, but they all. In total, I felt like maybe my opponent could have played a bit more for tempo. Like I feel like they kind of got lost in the sauce of like trying to outdraw my John and spent so much ink on Finders Keepers that like I just went ahead and controlled the board. And outside of Monstro, they can't really come back. And like when they had to Monstro, I just played like a second John, exerted one of the for every time that they have to ready their Monstro. And I ended up taking that 2-1. Game. Okay, I don't know how much I should talk about this. Game 3 was super interesting because I shifted a Diablo turn 2 play, and the hand that I knew was just like some ramp cards, Genie and Bell. And then so I exert my Diablo. They ramp, they play the Genie, and now I play Prince John, and I could use my Diablo to sing Friends or Sudden Chill, so basically like +1 card advantage from that, and draw 1 card from the exerted Diablo at least, but then the Genie gets to trade back into it. And usually I would go for that play, but I had Muses in hand. And if they just play any, like if they don't have Elsa, my Diablo is just surviving if it's ready.
Sure.
And then I could just play Muses the next turn, sing 1 song to bounce the Genie, or if they play like another or something, just sing 2 songs, bounce both of their cards back, and then my board's like Jean, Diablo, Muses, infinite cards, GG. And I felt like I couldn't lose if they don't have the Elsa, but I am risking like quite some card advantage if I don't exert and they have the Elsa.
You only saw their hand from the 1-drop Diablo, right? So you didn't know their hand after they drew from. I'm assuming they either played Sail or Tipo. They could have drawn some extra cards, right?
Yeah, I think. I mean, they also drew some cards from the Genie, so there was like 2-3 cards that I didn't know.
I'm interested to hear that thought process because it's a pretty high risk if they have it, right?
Yes, it was an incredibly high risk, but I felt so. Basically, in these situations, the way I think that you should be evaluating them, which like you can't do perfectly, but to evaluate it, I think you kind of have to like get a grasp of how likely are they to have Elsa in this scenario, how likely are they to not have it, and then you would have to like multiply it with how likely do you think are you to win if they have it, how likely are you to win if they don't have it, if you do play A or play B. So then like one of the 2 plays would have a higher expected value, a higher estimated win percentage. And I felt like even if I sing the friends, if I just let them trade with their Genie and play whatever they want, even if I sang friends, the game would still be quite open. But on the other side, if I keep it ready and they don't have it, I felt like it's almost a 1 game. It's like I'm incredibly ahead. But also, if they do have the Elsa, I am far behind, but it's not like completely unwinnable. So the play that I went for is keeping it ready, and they draw a card. I don't draw because my Diablo's ready. They play Elsa. I'm very sad.
Oh no!
And at that moment, it's not easy to like keep your focus up because you felt like, oh, this was probably the biggest decision of this game. It didn't pay off whatsoever. I'm now 2 cards down to what I would be if I played it the other way. But I still had to focus and see, okay, can I win from here? How can I win from here? And the game went on for like 15 more turns probably. And in the end, as explained earlier, I think maybe they should have played for more tempo, but it's hard to judge without seeing their hand. And like with muses and a lot of discard and a lot of, I was able to gain back control of the board, and especially with the Yagos, they had like I have 2 Yagos, but they have no way to like efficiently remove them. So like we're able to control evasives quite well. They have a lot more Yagos than me, but like with how long the game went, I always had Heffalumps and Woozles in hand to deal with it if they go for it. But they actually ended up playing around Heffalumps and Woozles the entire time. But still, this dynamic kind of gave me control of the evasive war. So that was the most fun series I've played over the weekend.
That
and
is
I think the most skill testing one.
hilarious to me. Do you want to know why? Because that was such an interesting story, and you're like, it was so grindy and so full of depth. And I'm pretty sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you tweeted about this, you said, yeah, Blurple, I just never lose to Blurple. I was expecting you to say, yeah, Blurple, I don't even have to talk about this match, easy GG. And this guy said, it was the most insane game of the entire series.
But, okay, that is true. I said, okay, never lose
yeah,
to
never
Blurple
lose to Blurple. And then
which is true. Somehow I never lose to it. And I thought, like, this is the time I lose to it. Green-Purple is like, its worst matchup is Blurple. I'm on the draw against a great player. I was playing against Ruben. I think they played Continents or something. Doesn't matter. I think my opponent played well. They're a great player. This is my worst matchup. I'm on the draw, and my risk didn't pay off.
Your risk didn't pay off, yeah.
And like it backfired. And then when I won it, I was like, why? What happened? No way.
When he won it straight to Twitter, easy GG. Yeah, not even difficult. Yeah.
I didn't say it was completely easy. I just said never lose to it, and that's true.
I mean, sure, I interpreted it that you meant it was very easy.
And I mean, I felt like I should have no chance to win that if that's my like on the draw in a best of 3. Like, so when I did win it, it was kind of the I was like, maybe Blurple still isn't the greatest deck.
I don't know. I think next set. I don't know. I've seen some people make some predictions.
I am scared of Blurple next set.
Yeah, I think next set it might be one of the best decks, honestly. But it's early predictions, so who knows?
And okay, just so no one gets annoyed at me again, I think Blurple is a good deck right now. I don't think it's tier 1, but it's like it is a pretty good deck, and I think it's from what we know right now, it might get only better from here for post rotation. And then the next round I face Damian from Poland, I also played against them at UK Games Expo, and they defeated me again. They 2-0'd me on Amber Steel aggro. Pretty quickly. They also ended up winning the tournament, and they had a 9-0 1 in Swiss, and they told me like, oh, I didn't even know Swiss seeding mattered for who goes first in top cut. I just played for fun. Okay, you got chat. And then and then in top 32, like with winning the tournament in top 32, I guess that's like 5 rounds. So in total they went 14-0. And you could say, okay, yes, they were first seed, but I think all of their top cut they also went 1-2-0. So it was like an incredible run by them. When I was on the draw, I had no chance. But you could say if some of these like turns went a little smoother, I had a chance. But okay, they won very, very quickly. And then when I was on the play, they have a quick opening, but I discarded some songs with 2 Urslas or something. I kept control of the board, like kept almost parity on the board. Everything seemed okay. They only have 1 card in hand. My turn's not great, but I can discard their hand, so I play Hypnotize. They have 0 cards in hand on 3 ink. They're out of cards. They draw like some 1-drops, 4-drops, or any cards that are not amazing. This game's probably won. But the immediate next card they had was a dog.
It's always the way. It happened to Spessy on stream. I tuned to the Spessy stream for maybe 5 minutes, and he was the same. He was facing off against an Amber Steel player, and he was having like, they had a super, super aggressive start, and Spessy was able to deal with it pretty well. I think he even had to like trade in his John for something. He kind of got back to like, board parity, and he's like, right, I've like discarded your hand, like he really fought for the game. And it's like top the dock, GG, and it's like.
And the game was close after that, but I felt like not exactly and then next turn Rapunzel, then like I was kind of chilling, but at least even if I win that game, I still have to win game 3 on the draw, which would have still been tough.
Sure. It's a very difficult matchup, yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought it was, I think it's close, like, but on the draw it's very difficult. It's like one of those matchups where play-draw disparity is at its highest point, I think. But yeah, congrats to them. There was, I guess, shout out to some decks I saw that I didn't really expect to see. There was a green-blue, I think, in top 8.
There was indeed, yep.
And a dump truck in top 4 or something. Like a dump truck purple steel deck. Which LD also played that too.
LD's also high on that, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great time. I played some Beyblade between rounds with Kang.
Okay. Moyen versus DKP Beyblade side tournament, I guess, right?
The score was 2-2, and then the next round started, and we didn't get to finish the best of 5.
This is like your side quest at the UK Games Expo. We had to try. You kept trying to pull us over to play. What was the game? Near like the tournament area.
Crokinole,
yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I think one of the most interesting conclusions, just from someone who's played Amber Emerald the most, and again, I always talk about like some of the similarities between these two decks. If I was expecting a lot of Amber Steel, usually, for my builds, I can do an Ursula and I can do a Vanessa Ursula, but I think this 1/3 Ursula, it's the same type of idea, which I think it's really, really good because it just doesn't die to Cindy. Like, making sure that you have a super solid 2-drop that you can, like, kind of guarantee to do, like, the Prince John on 3 and then potentially sing a Sudden Chill. It's actually quite good. Like, you really don't want it to die, and that's why it's like, if you're not against Steel, Sir Hiss can be so strong, but if you just have any opportunity that you play a 2 cost and then they just remove it, I feel like you're so far behind when that happens. So I like the inclusion of the 1/3 Ursula. I will say again, even for Infinity format, please print me a 2-cost inkable 1/3 evasive that does nothing. I will play it. I will play the card the same way. It's a reverse Sir Hiss Ravensburger. Give it to me next set and I'll play it.
Yeah, I guess the upside of this Ursula is also with the Rhino in the meta, like together with a Crab, it can take that out kind of nicely.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. The next slide is actually is it Damien or Daman's deck?
Something like that.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, I like to see the Goofy and how like did the Goofy do anything against you specifically, or?
Well, in one of the games, they played it and like they stormed it and Rapunzel it and it quested, but like it wasn't like this. Its effect didn't really come into play, but like Spessy kept moaning about one game where he was like completely winning, but his opponent played like a Smee on 2, a Smee on 3, and then turn 4 they just go like ink Goofy and have no cards in hand, and just quest with the Smees each turn.
Yeah.
And they didn't even exert the Goofy. They were just like quested for 4 with Smee. Next turn did it again. And again, and then question of everything. And then, like, he had the board, but he just didn't have a way to.
I mean, it makes sense, right? It's what you do, so it does suck. I don't know, like, I personally, well, honestly, I actually haven't really played that much of this meta, but this deck is probably a reason why I haven't played that much, because I don't really like playing against decks that are so aggressive like this, and they're not just like normal aggro decks, because they just have the ability to do very unfair things at stages of the game. Like you said, it's like, oh, if they get a dock, game's probably theirs. Oh, if they top deck a Pete, nothing I can do. Oh, they've got removal as well as being an aggro deck. It's just they have so many different things, and it's very difficult to play against.
Yeah, they are aggressive questers. They just pile up because you can't just contest them with characters. Your characters will usually get banished. And as I guess earlier when I said, okay, I had like the most fun within that set against Blurple, it was like an amazing match. My matches against Amber Steel were like quite the opposite. A lot of those were like over very quickly. Even when I stabilized, like sometimes was just okay, they didn't draw a dock in time and they ran out of cards too quickly and just played the top deck each turn after. Like it's I I am very aware of the fact that the deck I played also led to quite some non-games. But like so did Ember Steel.
I
So
doubt
there's
it's
some
as
decks that are
many
like,
as this though. I don't know. I feel like this could lead to way more non-games than some
yeah.
discard decks potentially.
I mean, I guess, I mean, I don't know. Against the red purples and red blues, they also just sat there and trying to get to like 7-8 ink, and I'm just like sitting there discarding the entire hand,
Yeah.
and then they play their top decks.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, these decks can lead to quite some unfun games, I think, and I'm not super sad to see this version of their decks go.
Mhm.
Um, but yes, I mean, I think for Speci was similar. It was like a lot of the games were either blowouts or in either direction.
Yes. Yep.
But like against Blurple, it was quite fun. Like, that was just an interesting match. Also,
I'm glad you spoke about the Blurple stuff because I have to be honest. Like from the context of just the tweet, I was like, bro, yeah, it's just easy.
yeah, we got a D23 set for top 8, and like
Is that your first one?
display.
Have you ever got one of those?
Yes, I never had one, so
Oh, cool.
very happy about this. And I guess a convention mat, and then first and second place got like a PSA 9 graded
Also.
cool cards, like
Yeah.
a Mickey for the first place.
Oh, yeah, like the D23 Mickey's OG
Yeah.
cards. Yeah, that's worth a lot of money.
So,
yeah.
yeah, which I only knew after how much that's worth. I was okay, that's probably a cool card, but yeah.
Oh
First
no,
place
yeah,
was
the
very much worth it.
pricing for the event in general seemed very strong. I mean, for you to even get that and the playmat and stuff, I believe that alone is probably it's at least 200 plus euros that box set. So
Yeah, it's valuable.
yeah. So there's one more deck list that we want to talk about before we close out the episode, and thank you guys so much for bearing with us with this one. But it's a
What do you mean
Ruby.
bearing with us? I'd love to listen to myself for hours.
Of course you would, yeah. It's a Ruby Emerald deck, but Moyen.
Uh-huh.
Is there any radars going off? Is there no alarms in your head happening right now?
I have radars for decks where like I know
The counts,
ins
right?
and outs of
Yeah.
the counts and what you can and include and like how much space you need for everything.
Mhm.
But I assume with how you're asking that this is not 60 cards.
No, this is
But
this is 61 cards, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much more than 60. So I guess Ruby Emerald has this so many incredible cards that is you can't cut the 61st card.
I mean, the 61st card is looks like it's a Dragonfire, so I don't know.
Yeah, Dragonfire, amazing. Okay, so this won a 73-player event.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it came first place.
That's quite cool.
I would
I do.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, when the new set came out, there was some testing that went into Ruby Emerald. I didn't do that much myself, but like, I saw how it could start becoming viable because like all of the extra discard triggers, right? I think mainly the chip, but also the undermine would just give it a lot more. I guess a lot of people try to still play it with the Robin Hood, which the Robin Hood somehow just never really works out because it's so much of an investment. But like a Diablo Shark deck, I've played against decks like this in the past. They didn't seem too far off being playable. So
it seems like it just seems to it kind of just has the green shell of all the discard stuff in combination with like just the good red stuff. The 2-drops, like I mentioned, for being able to guarantee that you can kind of sing a discard song onto they're very good. Like the 1/4 Queen of Hearts, I think that's like a particularly strong 2-drop. I think it's pretty decent. Yeah, is this Dormouse the card that deals it puts a damage counter?
It's 1 damage.
Oh, it just puts a damage counter on something, is it? I believe that's what it says. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not even 1 damage. It's like put 1 damage on there, so it even
gets
goes to 1 resist.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And I think this deck kind of makes sense for at least trying out the legendary Lilo. It does play a lot of actions. So yeah, cool deck. I want to say kind of innovative. It is innovative in a sense, but it is at the same time. Sure, I mean it's putting 2 of the best things that the decks do together. It's putting the Emerald discard together with the Ruby powerhouses of Boat of the Mauis, Brawl
Yeah.
for some removal, the Pirate's Life, and then the Undermine. Yeah, kind of that. I think that deck really brings it together because it's like you have your discard stuff, and then also with some of your smaller guys, you can use it to potentially trade up into other cards. But overall, I would. I don't know. I feel like this would still maybe struggle against some aggressive decks, but potentially not as well. Like I don't know. I do agree with you where I don't think this is too far off being like quite a playable deck, and clearly it performed in this
Yeah.
tournament, right?
Yeah, and, when I said, oh, it seemed close to a playable deck, it was like again in set 8 I haven't even played against this, so and it's surely better than it was before. That being said, like the big question about this deck is like how much does Ruby add to this, right? Because it's quite clear that like okay, Diablo, Shift Diablo, Prince John discard stuff with Urslan too, like that's powerful. Bruno and Cove. But from the Ruby card, the only thing that like kind of stands out to me is like I'll get to play around.
Half Shark, yeah.
And yeah, and I don't know, like, does that really compare to what like Deal adds with Storm, Strength, or what Amethyst adds? And yeah, but yeah, so I guess it could kind of exploit some decks that are weak to Shark, especially like Shark. It's kind of difficult to keep Shark answers in your hand. Why, if your hand is also being this?
Yeah.
The only deck that like got with Maui half Shark.
And Shark is able to get recursion of these discard actions and of like removal stuff as well. So, but in that logic, if the Shark isn't dealt with, they remove your hand. You have to hope you top deck a Shark answer, or this is just going to keep happening. Where, sure, maybe they might not keep recurring their discard stuff because you don't. But then you've no board, or you're not questing, or you're just not progressing the game, and they're just winning, right?
Yeah, and they're gaining lore this entire time. I guess a cool interaction in this deck is you can like Dormouse your Queen of Hearts so that it has the +3 strength. Turning it into like a 4/3.
Oh right, yeah, it's a 4/3, not even a 3/3, a 2-cost 4/3. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it does require you to actually like play the Dormouse, but I assume there will be some cool moments where you get to pull that off to have like an unexpected Queen of Hearts trade.
Yeah, it seems interesting. Definitely seems interesting. This would be a type of deck that I would potentially like to explore, especially at this. Like I like to see decks like this being played, especially at this stage where we're getting to the end of the set. We know rotations coming. Like you did with like green blue and even this green purple. Like let's just have some fun for the sense that you said that you haven't tried a Diablo deck before. Let's just do something different. Let's try something different from the norm. So no, pretty cool overall.
It's not even just about fun. I always also like we've talked about this a lot, but I always feel like exposing yourself to all of these different decks, matchups, etc. It just makes you a better player.
Yep.
And that goes like it how do I say it's not attached to what set or what game you're playing, right? But if I'm saying it makes you a better player, like even if you play a different game, you will have all of these experiences that will help you understand stuff quicker.
100%, yeah. That's nearly it. There's one more announcement that we have, and that's that I joined a team. Woo! I've joined a Lorcana team for Season 2 of competitive play. Yes, I've joined Playing Ducks, who have always been very, very cool and awesome whenever I've seen them at events. Most notably Bennett, who we've had on the podcast a couple of times before, that you've known from the Hearthstone days. And yeah, they just seem like really, really cool guys. They are a German-based team, and I am in Germany now, so that helps with, potentially doing some more physical testing as well. Although it's still a bit of an issue because most of them are in Cologne and I'm in Berlin, so that's still quite a distance. But I mean, the biggest thing for me joining a team, I guess some people are like, oh, there's a couple of people within the community right now where it's like this person's joined a team, this person's joined a team, and it's, I don't know, some people might think it's a trend or something right now. For me, like the biggest advantage that I see from this is I will have like a solid testing group now. Not that I don't do testing with Moyen and stuff like that, but it's just nice to have people that I can like share ideas with. It's also gonna motivate me to kind of play as much as possible as well. And yeah, just like be part of a group and be able to like kind of represent the team that I think encompasses what I think like Lorcana is all about. Like they're really big on community. They do a lot of community run tournaments. They do like leagues and stuff like that. I know they participate in, I don't know if it's like a European league or whatever against some other teams, but I really like the idea of doing that, and I think Pavel's LCCC kind of proved that. Like that was, those events were so cool, and especially when you've got like these big prominent players, it's like you make it an experience to the viewer. I think it's super cool. So yeah, I just like everything that this team is doing, and it's nice to hang out with others and share ideas, especially coming into a new meta, right? Like I think that's going to be like really fun to try to playtest as much as possible, and like you said, Moy, not just try to find like the one deck. I want to explore everything and try everything, because I also agree that I think it makes you a very good player overall. Yeah, that's pretty much all of the news. Moyen, any closing thoughts from all the news, the deck lists? We've got, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks leading up to Fabled now. Like, are you excited? Are you going to be coming to any upcoming events? Like, have you got tickets for Malmo Games Week or Cardiff or anything like that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a ticket for Cardiff, but like I haven't booked travel yet, so I don't know if I'm coming to the event in Sweden or in Cardiff.
There is also the CCQ in Sweden, right? So that's
yeah.
I believe from Berlin, it's a lot easier to get to as well. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then there's the event in Malmö as well, but I might decide to go there on like short notice. But none of these events are locked in yet, except Bologna.
Yeah, awesome.
Also, last week when we talked about value and tempo, it actually like sparked something where then, the Arta cast also started talking about how do we actually define these things? And then Frank also mentioned, okay, this article in which he kind of tried to explain some of these. I didn't think it was like, actually let's put it this way. That just goes to show how great of a question that was, because now all of these people in the space are like kind of trying to define tempo and value in their ways. So just never feel afraid to ask these questions, because even when we all think we know,
we get to spark conversation about it. Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. And please comment down below all of your thoughts and stuff. We didn't do a building section this week because there was just too much information to cover, unfortunately. But in the weeks leading up to Fabled, yeah, just drop us your thoughts down below. Just keep telling us, like, honestly, like simple things like what cards you guys want to see reprinted that you think could have some potential, either staples or not staples, cards that you really don't want to see. Like that's something I personally really enjoy discussing. I've recently been doing a would you rather reprint edition of this card versus this card, and it sparks up some really cool conversations with people. So I'll give you one, Moyen. If you had to keep, and you can say neither if you want.
Okay.
Maui or B Prep, which one do you keep?
Maui or B Prep? Which Maui? So
Maui, rush Maui, because Maui Half Shark is staying in the meta.
Sure. I guess we have other Mauis probably.
Sure, but who cares about those Mauis, right?
I probably don't want Rush Maui. I think it's kind of a bit overstated for an Inkable 5 cost with Rush.
So you said it's too powerful.
Yeah, it's not like a problem card, but like it does still make it hard to exert any mid-range characters into these turns. And like I want a board clear, but I'm not sure I want B Prep, because I think B Prep is fine until it's sung. If I just play like a Scar, a Hades, anything that can, and no matter what you do, I can sing B Prep and develop my entire turn. That's kind of rough. So maybe I'll go with either of them. But like both of these cards, I don't think they would be the worst thing in the world if they were to still exist. But with both of these cards, I have my minor issues with for which reason I would rather live with different versions of them or like
Mhm.
without them.
I think that's a fair point. I do think that for the most part, B prep is kind of just played more so than a song. But yes, for the ability that when you can sing it, it's extremely powerful. I don't know, and I think it's a lot of people have different opinions on the card like B prep. Like some people might say, "Oh, I'd love an inkable B prep next." You know, if we
An
just got
inkable.
well, yeah,
Okay.
because some people are just like, "Oh, well then I can just like always protect it against an Ursula." But I think that's a necessary weakness that the card needs to have. You need to have a way to interact with that big board clear. But that's what I'm saying. Some people will be like, "Oh, I want maybe an even better B prep." Maybe some people. I mean, I don't know if you want a worse B prep, but a way to change a B prep potentially, like we've mentioned before, is if you make it an action instead, then potentially it's no longer targetable by a song, which is good, but then you can't sing it and you can't have that
Mhm.
momentum. I think that's a direction
Okay.
that we could potentially see things go in, but who knows?
Which one would you rather see reprinted?
None.
Rabbit or
Oh,
goat?
sorry. Rabbit or goat, rabbit or goat, rabbit or goat. Um, if Keen is listening and watching this, who you know very well, I hope Keen's doing well, by the way, because I haven't seen him in ages. I haven't been home ever since set champs in set 3. I'm pretty sure like 2 of the finals that I lost to him to get the Stitch playmat. The only thing he needed to do to win was top deck goat, and he top deck goat against me both
Oh
times.
no.
So
So it's rabbit for you.
for the amount of times I think I've lost to goat, maybe goat, but I also think rabbit's extremely powerful. Um, I don't know. Card draw is very strong. I think if rabbit stayed in the game, rabbit would definitely see a lot of play. Goat would see play in like certain types of decks, but goat can be so frustrating once it comes down and you're at like 17, 18 lore, and it's like when it's at the moment when it comes down, you're like, yep, I literally lose the game because I can't remove this because they win, and if I leave it, they just quest and they win. Um, rabbit is a lot of momentum across a long game as well, which is a bit frustrating. So honestly, if you're making me have to pick, I'd probably keep rabbit, but I would like to see both of them gone, probably. What would you
Okay,
say?
makes sense. Um, yeah, I think maybe rabbit without the bounce cards is not like the end of the world, but like 4 cost on a body still always draws you at least 2 cards. Is still quite powerful. Um, yeah, I think I agree with you. I just wanted to give one more shout out before others,
Sure.
because from last week we got the like our cards
Oh
um
yeah.
from Instagram, and I Goofy plays Lorcana was also in Madrid playing the event,
Really?
and yeah. And it was lovely meeting them. But the best thing was they were like after the event, they just played like a blitz pack rush. So they just set up their laptop to as like a chess clock, and then we were playing like a pack rush with 2 minutes, 5 second increment, and that was like
Wow,
I
that
don't
sounds so
like pack
cool.
rush, but like with a chess clock, it was so much fun. And yeah, I enjoyed that as like a fun format a lot.
Awesome, yeah, that's awesome that you got to meet him. Wow, you were probably like, "Thank you for the cards," and I'm sure he was happy we got to highlight them, right? Because it was very much on a whim
Yeah,
that we did that last week. You can only notice that just before the podcast, right? We're like, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
we should
it happened
definitely
just
highlight
before
this."
the pod. They were very happy about it.
Yeah, well, thank you again for making the custom cards. It was awesome. Um, we're approaching the 2 hour mark, so I think this is the perfect time to close out the episode. So if you guys like this episode, the number one thing you can do is leave us a review over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your local podcast platform. There is a video version of this available over on youtube.com/@podcana podcast. Hit the subscribe while you're there. Twitters are @kawatech_cg and @moyen_hs. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one.